Do you have any opening remarks?
Of course, good morning everyone. I'm happy to be here and it's really nice to see some familiar faces. Today we have very refreshing news where we have the Office of the Vice President has already received the annual audit report for 2024. And I know that all of you are very eager to hear what is contained in this document. This audit was done in accordance with the international standards of supreme audit institutions, and it covers the accounts and operations of the Office of the Vice President curriculum year 2024. And of course, as in the last 2 years, 2022 and 2023, the Commission on Audit again gave an unmodified audit opinion on the fairness of presentation of the OVP's financial statements as of December 31, 2024. And then, so of course, we would ask, I don't know if all of you would understand what an unmodified audit opinion means. And so we're here to explain to you so that you can get a little bit of understanding. There is a June 2022 publication of the Commission on Audit, which defines an unmodified audit opinion as a Commission on Audit issuance, and this happens when the auditor concludes that the financial statements are prepared in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework in all material respects, as specified, of course, by the International Standards of Audit and the International Standards of Supreme Audit Institutions. There is a modified opinion, a modified audit opinion, but it is different because it then includes qualified, adverse, and a disclaimer of opinion. And of course, very fortunately, the Office of the Vice President has received for the third year, an unmodified audit opinion. And also in the report that we received, the independent auditor's report also cited a similar opinion, and I quote, I will read the entire text of the opinion, but I want to catch my breath. If it's okay, yeah, I'll catch my breath. Okay, so I will read to you the independent auditor's report opinion in the opinion portion. We have audited the accompanying financial statements of the Office of the Vice President, which comprise the statement of financial position as at December 31, 2024, and the statement of financial performance, the statement of cash flows, the statement of changes in net assets / equity, statement of comparison of budget and actual amounts for the year then ended, and notes to the financial statements, including a summary of significant accounting policies. In our opinion, the accompanying financial statements present fairly in all material respects the financial position of the Office of the Vice President as at December 31, 2024, and its financial performance, the cash flows, changes in net assets / equity, and comparison of budget, and actual amounts for the year then ended, and notes to financial statements, including a summary of significant accounting policies in accordance with the International Public Sector Accounting Standards. And this is signed by the Commission on Audit Supervising Auditor on May 16, 2025. So you'll see here, ladies and gentlemen, these opinions accompanying the Commission on Audit's 2024 annual audit report for the Office of the Vice President is a confirmation of the Office of the Vice President's firm commitment to comply with all laws, existing rules and regulations, including audit guidelines, so that we can be transparent. This is, of course, for purposes of transparency and compliance, upholding the rule of law.
Ma'am,
Red Mendoza po from the Manila Times.
Mike, please.
Pero ma'am, why did you convince yourself to be the new spokesperson of the OVP and hello?
Mike, parang paulit na lang ang question.
Ma'am, why did you decide po na maging spokesperson ng OVP? Did the Vice President approach you? And ano pong inyong magiging communication or magiging key communication thrusts in giving to the public the services of the OVP? Ano yung mga parang ipapaliwanag ninyo sa public? So, ipapaliwanag niyo po ba yung mga servisyo ng OVP sa tao, ilalapit niyo po ba? And to correct misconceptions about yung sa mga nangyayari sa OVP, ma'am.
Yes, hi Red, thank you. I remember seeing you in DTI. Actually, it was no convincing from the part of the Vice President or her staff. They did not need to convince me. I actually submitted an application for any position, for anything that I can do to help the Office of the Vice President. And I'm fortunate that I was given this trust and confidence. And my purpose of being here, including, well, the first day is today, is to actually highlight all the accomplishments of the Office of the Vice President. You would see that, yes, the Vice President is the second highest leader in the country, and she would have similar obligations to the people as the President. And that is what we're going to do here, because the Office of the Vice President for the last 3 years has been performing and delivering basic services to the people, but we would need to give more emphasis, and so that everyone in the country or the public in general would know.
Ma'am, last question na lang po on my end. Ma'am, doon po muna tayo sa budget po, ma'am. Sa budget ng OVP, I heard that the Vice President said na they want to stay doon sa same level as what was given in 2025. Magbago po ba yun, or meron po bang konting changes, increase po ba, or mananatili pa rin po ba dun sa level na 738 million as what was given by Congress? And if ever, ma'am, mag-request po ba si VP ng a little increase man lang, if ever, ma'am, if medyo friendly?
Yes, thank you, Red. Yes, the Office of the Vice President retains the 733 million, I understand, with a little bit of increase to cover personal services and then other operation costs that will help them fulfill the mandate that they have. It's not a lot, and of course it will be most welcome if Congress gives the Office of the Vice President more than what we're asking for.
Okay. Next question, Maricel Abdurman, GMA News.
Ma'am, doon muna po ako sa ano. So you will just speak for the institution, for OVP,
That's
not
right.
for
Yes.
VP?
No, not for the Vice
Or-
President, for the Office of the Vice President as the institution.
So para alam lang po namin, ano po yung pwede namin itanong sa iyo on behalf of VP po?
The OVP as the institution and official acts of the Vice President as the brand or as the leader of the office.
So kunyari, if you will ask anything about her on the Hague trip now, pwede po.
If it's official.
So we may ask you about that now?
Her trip is personal this time. It's all cost on her, not an official trip whatsoever.
Ma'am, yung, kasi may fear before si VP na nung kinaltasan yung budget nila this year, is yung apprehension niya is yung pag-retrench ng mga employees, lalo na sa mga satellite offices, yung possibility po na may magsasara din mga SOs all over the country. May we have an update? Kasi isa po ito sa naging apprehension po niya. Meron nga po bang nagsara at meron nga po bang mga natanggal na employees?
You would note that with the meager budget of the Office of the Vice President, they are still able to fulfill the promises that they made to the people, still serving the public, giving whatever they can. Pero syempre, working around that little budget, they had to close some satellite offices. Several have been closed already, and then personnel some have been removed, the others transferred. Kasi pagka binawasan mo ng staff sa isang office ng medyo madaming, I mean, if they have more than enough personnel, lilipat mo sa iba para makabawas ng personnel to make sure that the Office of the Vice President can still cover personnel services in the budget. That means the salary of the workers.
You said, do we have an official data like how many offices have closed? And
I will,
okay.
yes, I will give you that data, officially maybe later, after the interview.
Ma'am, sorry, kasi laging ang nagko-comment sa Malacanang, it's Yusek Claire Castro. There's Attorney Abante of the Congress, so hindi naman ikaw yung pantapat ng VP sa kanilang dalawa.
Well, I'm here as spokesperson for the Office of the Vice President. I am not here to sling any mud to anyone. And my marching order actually from the Vice President is to be forthright in the message that I will need to convey. And these are the accomplishments and the projects, the programs, and what exactly is the Office of the Vice President doing for the country.
When we understand this is a personal trip, but nonetheless, ang sinasabi na is, meron pa rin pong opisina na kailangan tumakbo. So, on her absence, ma'am, like who runs the OVP? Although VP has been saying na even if she's abroad on a personal trip, she's still working. Pero yung bang kung kailangan may mga immediate na mga decisions kailangan gawin, like who acts on her behalf?
She has a very able Chief of Staff, Undersecretary Zulaika Lopez, so everything is under control, and the Vice President is actually very reachable, so I understand that anything that would need her immediate attention can be relayed to her ASAP.
So, hindi yung tanong, ma'am. So, kahit personal trip po yun, the VP is still working as the Vice President?
Oh yes, of course. She's still running the office. It's still her on top of the Office of the Vice President.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next question, Raymond Antonio, Mahida Bulletin.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Ma'am, may I ask what's the status of the medical and burial assistance being given by the OVP, considering the budget cut? Thank you.
For now, I understand that there is no medical and burial assistance being provided by the Office of the Vice President. Whatever meager resources that the office has, it is given to other priority areas which the office finds very important. So wala po, for this year, I understand, wala po medical and burial.
So, hindi niyo pa rin po hihilingin nila ibalik?
Hindi po.
Okay. Next question, Ms. Bella Carriazo, Philippine Star.
Ma'am, susukan ko lang ulit yung question ni Marisol regarding sa pagiging spokesperson niyo. So, kailan inalok sa inyo yung position, considering na, yun nga, sunod-sunod yung may na-appoint sa House, may na-appoint sa Senate, and nauna nga yun sa Malacanang. So, nag-decision ba ang OVP na magkaroon ng spokesperson dahil sa kanilang decision nga na magkaroon ng spokesperson, o nauna na itong decision ng OVP na magkaroon ng spokesperson?
Actually, maybe early this year, nung nag-signify po ako ng aking intention, pero hindi naman rin agad na aksyonan. Kaya medyo tumagal po ng tumagal. Ang raming nangyari sa Vice Presidente, marami pong dinaanan na ng opisina, so hindi po agad na aksyonan, and maybe at that time, hindi pa nila nakita yung need talaga. But even before Attorney Abante, even before Attorney Castro, Undersecretary Castro, bago pa po yun, nagsasabi na po ako, nag-signify na po ako.
So, magiging regular po ang press con na expect namin sa inyo?
Depende po sa mano ng Office of the Vice President.
You said sana meron din tayo, kahit once a week lang.
Yeah, and we'd like to invite you also to our programs. We'll take you out in the field para makita nyo yung mga programa ng Office of the Vice President.
Okay, next question, Camille Samantha.
Press ko.
Mike, please.
Excuse me, I'll just make a correction doon sa employees that was asked about earlier. Yung mga satellite offices, hindi naman po sinara, pero naglipat doon sa mga mas murang lugar at saka maybe mas maliliit na opisina ng size ng office para makatipid at makatuloy-tuloy pa rin na makapagtrabaho yung mga tao sa satellite offices.
Next question, Camille Samonte, TV5.
Ma'am, good morning. I'm Camille po from, ma'am, I'm here.
Oh, hi.
From TV5. Ma'am, balikan ko lang yung sa una niyo pong sinabi about dun sa modified opinion from the Commission on Audit. Siguro para lang din po maintindihan ng mga ordinaryong tao, ano po ba yung ibig sabihin nito, yung sa pagkasta ng Office of the Vice President, because we know na isa ito sa mga issue na tinignan ng mga House prosecutors, no? Kaya sinasabi nga nila kaya nagkaroon ng impeachment complaint na sinasabi allegedly na may maling pagkasta yung Office of the Vice President. So, yung sinasabi niyo po kanina, what does it mean? Para lang po maintindihan ng ordinaryong tao.
Okay, thank you, Camille. Okay, I understand that unmodified opinion and a modified opinion, hindi naman din talaga ordinarily maintindihan. Kahit ako, I need to get used to COA lingo kasi iba yung kanilang medyo mas technical sila kaysa sa ordinary language. Ang unmodified opinion, there are two things. Unmodified audit opinion and modified audit opinion. Itong modified and unmodified is applied to financial statements that are subject to audit. Meron po kasing tatlong klase ng audit. This is the financial statements, there is the compliance audit, and there is a performance audit. So ito pong modified and unmodified opinion are used only for financial statements. So dalawa lang yung magiging sagot ng COA dyan, whether it's modified or unmodified. And I mentioned that for the last 3 years since 2022, puro unmodified opinion po ang binibigay ng COA sa Office of the Vice President. And this means na wala pong, maayos po ang pagpresenta ng kanilang financial statements. Ang financial statements na po na ito, ang kino-cover niya yung mga, it covers the accounts and the operations, yung mga transactions po na ginawa ng Office of the Vice President. So for the last 3 years, like I said, unmodified ang opinion. Ang ibig sabihin po ng unmodified opinion, the financial statements are prepared in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework in all material requests. This applicable financial reporting framework is a requirement that is adopted also by the Commission on Audit, by the international standards of audit, mga foreign international institutions na po ito, and the international standards of supreme audit institutions. So, pagka naka-receive po ang isang ahensya ng unmodified audit opinion, maligaya na po silang lahat. Pagka po modified ang ni-receive, ito po yung, just to contrast, modified opinion includes qualified, adverse, and a disclaimer of opinion. It is issued when the auditor concludes. Ini-issue po ito, yung modified opinion, pagka sinabi ng auditor na based on the audit evidence that they presented, hindi ko ma-determine as an auditor kung yung financial statements ba niya ay walang material misstatement. Or, isa pang ground where they can issue a modified opinion, a modified audit opinion, kung hindi po kaya ng auditor na maintindihan na walang misstatement na ginagawa dahil wala po siyang makuhang sufficient na evidence.
What does it say? For example, like right now,
Mike, please. Mike.
what does it say now, ma'am? Just this is one of the major topics na po na tinitignan ng mga House prosecutor. Of course, I know you mentioned that you can only speak on constitution, but OVP basically ito kasi yung budget yung tinitignan.
Oh yes, ibig sabihin yung budget po for 2024 ay maayos na nagastos ng opisina. Wala pong nakita ang audit na naging problema doon sa compliance nila doon sa pagpresenta ng mga financial statements ng kanilang financial transactions, at wala po rin nakita na problema during the time of audit. And this has been happening, as I mentioned, for the last 3 years. So yung unmodified audit opinion na nilabas this year ng COA ay kapareho lang po rin noong 2022 and 2023. Ibig sabihin, for the last 3 years po, wala pong nakitang diferensya ang Commission on Audit na hindi naman kayang i-correct. I mean, whatever they found, they would still give the unmodified audit opinion dahil correctable or baka documentation processing lang or something. But what's important is we receive the unmodified audit opinion.
Spokesperson despite the controversies na hinaharap ng VP Sara and her office.
I believe in the Vice President, and I see myself in her kasi she never says die. Ako din never say die. So kahit anong harapin niya, kaya niya yan. I'm sure she has also, like me, battled many storms in her life. And you see her still standing, still strong. So I believe po in her, and of course, she is a direct extension of her father, whom I served for the full 6-year term. Kaya gusto ko po siyang matulungan.
Next question, Mads, there. At 25. Mike, please. Mike.
Hi, ma'am.
Micah?
Yes, ma'am. Mads, ma'am.
Oh,
From
Mads.
95. Opo. Ma'am, sa tingin mo ba, itong since 3 years na po sunod yung unmodified na audit report po ng COA, malaki ba yung matutulong niya sa mga allegations ng irregularities sa OVP?
Yes, Mads. It's actually, it's something to be proud of kasi sa mga ahensya po, lahat ng government agencies, dalawa lang po, on the audit of financial statements, dalawang opinion lang po ang pagpipilian, either modified or unmodified. Like I said, pag nakakuha po ng unmodified audit opinion, hindi naman po ito rango, hindi ito ranking. Pero ibig sabihin, unmodified opinion, wala pong maayos po ang submission ng financial statements na ginawa. It is fairly presented, it is honest, it's transparent. So, advantage po, alam po ng lahat ng government agencies yan, na pagka may unmodified opinion sila, happy po silang lahat.
Mabagyan ko lang yung budget. Nabawasan ba sa DBM yung sinabit na 733? Or dinagdagan po kahit pa paano sa DBM?
For this year? We're talking of this year.
2026.
For 2026, yung nabawasan pa siya, yung 900, naging 900 something million because of the personal services na, at saka yung mga ibang
933, ma'am?
900 something, wait,
DBM na po yung nag-add mo.
DBM na.
Hindi siya nilaglas ng OVP.
Hindi po, sila na ang naglagay. From our request, sila na po ang nag-augment.
So from 730, now it's 930.
Wait, I will give you the exact number. It's here. Just look for the attack kasi.
Mads, balikan
we can get back
Next
to
question,
it.
please. Kathleen ABS-CBN.
Ma'am, good morning. I just want to be clarified because the COA in its website says that an unmodified opinion does not necessarily mean that there were no misstatements found during the audit, nor were there no uncorrected misstatements as the year end. In fact, in 2023, I believe the OVP, as you mentioned, also received an unmodified opinion, and yet the COA flagged the low budget utilization for the Magnegosyo Katay program, and it also flagged several deficiencies in the Pagbabago campaign. My question, what changes were made in terms of the absorptive capacity of the OVP as well as the implementing rules of the Pagbabago campaign to make sure that the former irregularities flagged by the COA, despite the unmodified opinion, will no longer be flagged in the future?
This is for 2023.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we are right now on the audit annual report for 2024. So if you want to know about 2023, we'll get back to you.
No, ma'am. I wanted to clarify my question. What changes were made in the implementation of the program to make sure that the things that were flagged in the 2023 utilization were no longer an issue in the 2024 budget?
Okay, so for the 2024 budget, there are also some observations made by the Commission on Audit, similar to what was done in 2023. And of course, the manual of operations for these programs, like the Magnegosyo Taday, are always revisited and then improved for the following year. And that's what we're doing now. As a matter of fact, also in the 2024 annual audit report, there were still some observations that the office is given 60 days to submit the corrections or whatever remedial actions were taken by the Office of the Vice President. But notwithstanding these observations, the final opinion of the Commission on Audit remains to be the unmodified opinion, because these observations are maybe not, I don't know if minor is the correct word, but it means that the observations can still be corrected and do not actually affect the entire presentation of the financial statements.
Okay.
Follow-up
Last two questions,
sorry,
please.
follow-up question lang po. Why were you so keen on applying to the OVP for any position? And can you give us an update on the status of your exit with the Marcos administration, particularly after you were placed on floating status with the DTI? Para lang po walang loose ends.
Oh yes, of course. What was your term? Why was I so
keen on joining the OVP regardless of any position?
Okay, so let me begin by saying that I left the Department of Trade and Industry in December 2023. And yes, I was placed on a floating status for, how do I say it? I was head of I was Undersecretary for the Consumer Protection Group, and I did something that any honest working official in the government will do. And I was put in hot water for that. And so I was floated, and then I eventually left the department in December, several months after. And me being keen on being the spokesperson of the Office of the Vice President is my way of returning or giving back to the country what I know it deserves and what I know that it needs. It was not a good separation for me from the department, because I was doing what was right and I was doing what the country needed. So that's the story.
Last two questions. Jason.
SMNI News. Ma'am, nagkausap na po kayo ni Vice President Sara Duterte at ano yung bilin niya sa iyo bilang spokesperson po ng Office of the Vice President?
The instructions are, number one, I am not an attack dog. So not being an attack dog, I will not go on the offensive. I will just report. I'll be straightforward, report on what message the Office of the Vice President needs. And that's basically it, actually. No other instructions. Well, of course, except that I will need to be firm when I need to be firm, but I need to be soft as well when I need to be soft. So.
Ma'am, I know you accepted yung role, yung responsibility as the spokesperson, pero may pressure po ba sa inyo na kayo po ay tumatayo bilang spokes ng OVP?
Pressure in what sense?
At the time, sa gitna po ng mga issues, mga controversies na inutupo po sa office?
No, because I believe in the leader, and the leader can handle it herself, right? I'm just a support staff, backup, cheerleader. Yeah, but I've been there, I've done that. So, but this interview is really not about me. It's about the Office of the President. So, maybe we can go back.
Okay, thank you po.
Thank you.
Tawad ba? Go ahead.
Ma'am, just want to clarify.
Hello po, ma'am. Just want to clarify, under the proposed 2026 budget of the OVP, will the OVP still be seeking confidential funds po?
No. No, ma'am. Hindi na po. Kung gusto nila magbigay, okay, pero hindi na po hihingi ang Office of the Vice President.
The last question lang. Last question to. Marisol.
Hindi na po
Tolan.
ibabalik yung medical at saka burial
Yes.
assistance since BPS yung part na po ito ng kanilang project sa OVP.
Tinanggal lang last year kasi nga nakaltasan ng budget, but why are we not giving that?
Kung makabigay ng budget, thank you, we will use it. Pero kung hindi na din hingin kasi ang lahat ng programa naman ng Office of the Vice President is submitted to the Department of Budget and Management. So kung yung hindi na nila ipipilit.
Okay. Thank you, OVP Media. Salamat.
Wait, may isa pa
Last.
Sorry, you said
one last.
Si JC po, decide.
Sige, one last. Last na to.
About
This is
principal from Raptor. The Duterte bloc seems to align with Senate President Jesus Cordero. Have there been talks about the impeachment trial between the Duterte allied senators and the OVP? So in case of a trial pushes through, how is the Vice President preparing for that scenario?
Oh, nga. It's Attorney Michael Poa who handles the impeachment. He will be the spokesperson for the impeachment case. So, my authority is limited to the Office of the Vice President.
Okay. Okay, salamat po. Salamat po sa pagpunta.
Thank you.